Hello, I'm Adam and welcome to the second part of video where we'll start building our 3D printed jet boat. Okay, at the beginning let's start with the teflon tube. We'll need a scalpel and teflon tube and boat. And where these teflon tubes go. The teflon tube, we need to insert the teflon tube there. And it will work something like a gasket. So my plan to do this is cut some part of the teflon tube and insert it, then cut the rest. So let's cut the teflon tube. Okay, I have cut it, I hope, straight. And now I have to insert it there to this hole, and it might be hard, but we have to try. Okay, there it is a little bit. Now we need something to push it, maybe this. Okay, it works. Okay, and we can see it changed color a little bit, so there is something about 5 millimeters, and that's it. So we need to cut the rest, and of course we need to do it straight. Okay, should be okay, and it should look like this. Okay, next part, we need to insert the brass nuts, and we have to use soldering iron. So let's try, and we need to put it on the middle of the hole. It's hard through camera. It's hard to see through camera. I think it's on the middle. Okay, and let's push it. First hole didn't went very well, so I had to make them a little bit bigger. And then unfortunately I didn't have drill, so I used Dremel, but anyway it worked. And as you see, I moved roundly, so the holes are a little bigger. And now we can see it good. Oh, we need to. It didn't went well. Oh, yeah, it worked. Okay. Now let's center it. And in ideal world, you should press it. Mike. Okay, and now I will show you how how I will solder those wires and banana plugs, and I will use third hand for this. I put it there like this. First, we need to make it really hot. So, of course, first we need to make it very hot and put there a lot of. Okay, now when it's liquid, now hold it for a few seconds because you don't want to clear the cold solder, and that might be enough. Okay, and for me it's okay. Now let's pair the transmitter with receiver and connect the motor and the ESC. So let's connect the motor. We need to isolate this first. Okay, so ESC is connected to the motor, and I have to connect the receiver PWM header. Okay, and now we can see there are many plugs with one wire, but there is one with the 3 wires. Oops. And we've got a problem. And now binding the receiver with the transmitter. To enter bind mode, we have to hold the bind button and connect the ESC to power. Yes, and we can see it's now searching the transmitter. To use to go to the binding mode on the transmitter, we need to hold the bind button and power up. And we can see it got bind. And I don't know why it now will be fun part because the battery is 4S and it's a little bit too big, but let me put it, oh okay, and I think that's the best place for the battery, like this. And now I bought this big ESC to be a universal ESC for everything, including next projects, not only boat. And there is a little problem because the ESC is too big for my boat, and I was thinking a lot how to organize it, and I think the best option to do this will be something like cutting their little hole, not very little, like there, and the ESC will be able to hide a little bit, for example like this, and the motor wires can go something like this, and the power will go there. And that's best what I managed when I was thinking. So let's remove the battery, and now we need to make a hole for this, something like there, and we can use drill or something, but the soldering iron is working okay. Okay. Yay! Yeah, and it fits. That's so crazy. So just buy smaller ESC or find ESC from your quadcopter. Unfortunately, I've got Mamba 405, and I for sure I won't fit there 4-in-1 tower. So there might be some advantages of having ESC separate, but anyway, there we are, and it should now fit pretty good because Yeah, and the power supply, and yeah. Okay, so the motor will be mounted like this. I decided to mount it like this. I need to mount it like this anyway, the cables from the left side. Okay, and pro tip about the motor, it's M3 screw with it's M3 screw 6 mm long, and I recommend not using anything longer, because there is a risk damaging your motor, because when we see like this, let me show you. Yeah, so as you can see, it's almost the screw ends almost with this motor body, where the thread is, so that's okay. But if your screw will be too long, you may damage your motor wirings, and simply your motor won't work. Okay, so and basically that's very simple. We have to take the washer and the screw. I'm using washers just for safety, because oops, my inbox is 3 and there is 2.5. Let's use the medium glue, and let's see how fast it will catch the print. Okay, I put it too much. Okay, and now let give it time. Okay, and there is a shaft and the propeller. Of course, it won't be too easy to put it there, and I will try to make this hole a little bit bigger, and my idea is to use a screw, because we can see at the end it's a little bit tighter. So let's screw it. Then we've made a thread in the 3D print, but when we will screw it more, the thread will destroy, and finally we will get a little bit bigger hole. Okay, let's try heat it up to LC and maybe push it. Okay. Okay, maybe it's enough. Yeah, it moved. We need a little bit and so I will try something like this. Yes. Whoa, that was hard. And you should have something like this, because as you maybe saw in the project page, there is a few millimeters of shaft before the propeller, and there is a hole for this depth, and about half of this is the shaft after the propellers, about this, and I think I matched it. Okay, so and it will work like this. And okay, so we can, I'm not sure it's a good time for doing this, but now we can put it there, and as you can see it will look like this, and it's hard to rotate it. It's hard to rotate because the Teflon tube is tight, but when we will use a lubricant, and it will work okay. And okay, so to assemble this parts, I used four, it's M3 8mm long screw, and the washers for M3. How tight? Just screw the screws to don't have loose washers, and it will be fine. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Please leave a comment and hit the subscribe button. Bye!